What is up, homies? It's your boy Mike Mason, your host for another fireside chat. I'm here with the lovely Carrie Strope,
Hello.
a woman of
Mike,
many words.
well, I don't see your camera, Mike. I just see three big dots. Is
Oh,
that a
really?
problem on my end? Or
Okay,
is,
well, let me look into that. And
uh-oh.
all right, well, give us just 1 second, homie. We're going right into technical difficulties.
Word.
There
Seems
we
to be the
go.
theme of
All
the
right,
night. There we go.
now
All
now
right.
Carrie can see herself and will be happy. Okay, Carrie, tell us again.
I can see myself in this little corner.
All right, so Carrie Strope, tell them what you do.
I am a teaching artist. I work in fused glass and mosaic, and I work with HBO in a local studio here in town, stained glass studio, teaching classes, and help Mike do this thing.
Very good. You'll be teaching at the Glasscraft and Bead Expo, is that right?
That's right. I'm getting ready for it. I got super excited because registration started today, and one of my classes is nearly sold out already, which is totally great. It's a new class for me, and it's going to focus heavily on cutting and making patterns in glass.
Oh yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
All right, that is a perfect introduction to kind of lead us into something I wanted to talk about because Carrie mentioned that registration for the Glasscraft and Bead Expo opened today. Guys, you have seen some footage, most of you, unless you're very new, like that Josh Mazet Dichro demo, Andrew Pollock making birds, teaching you guys to do the octopus with the Millie eyes in his class. Shout outs to Andrew. I know he's in the chat with us tonight. Guys, Roger Paramore's teaching there. So many amazing people are teaching there. I actually made a cheat sheet, and if you look in the video description, there's an updated version of it. And I know this isn't like much to see right now because we're not going to zoom into it or whatever. But if you pull up the one that you can actually download or whatever, I'll uh, I'll do it right now, in fact, just to give you guys an idea. And then also linked in the video description is the class list. And guys, this is a huge expo. It's in April in Las Vegas. It's at a hotel and casino that is like super cheap. Like beer's like $7 a 6 pack. That's like a third of the cost at any other casino in Vegas. We've got a really nice hot tub.
That's
But
true. The lagoon. I'm looking forward to that.
yeah, but really, it's about these classes, and I'll show you guys the cheat sheet that I made just to give you an idea. This is like 30 classes that I thought were pretty worthwhile to check out. Here's a number of them with Roger Paramore. Me and Carrie actually already signed up for this lecture, this losing the least, what everyone should know. And this is something that I talk about on the show. Like when I talk to you guys about different forms of stress, like thermal and mechanical stress, and the way that the heat moves through the glass. So much of that comes from the teachings of Roger Paramore and his physics-based approach. And this lecture gets into a lot of that stuff. So if you're coming out to this, it's 2 hours, it's $40. I think this is the biggest no-brainer of the year. But he also has full-on goblet classes and fundamentals classes, and all these other classes are amazing. Some of you guys may remember Margaret, her
Ginger.
borosilicate butterfly demo. If you want to learn that process from her, you can. Cremation pendants, mixing your own colors with Sue Ellen Fowler. Josh Mazet, there's that Dichro marbles. Go take a whole day of that with him if you found that demo to be interesting. He also has an implosion pendant thing. Andrew teaching goblets. It is just amazing class after amazing class after amazing class. These were some of the ones that I missed when I made it before. So here's some updated stuff. Shout outs to Deb Crowley, an amazing artist and instructor one of the ones I spaced on type of thing. There's so many cool classes here that you can take. They're all in one place, and it's like a buffet. And like I said, registration just opened. So like I want to give you guys the first shot at this because in a month, if I tell you about it again, half the dope classes are going to be filled. And it's not to say they're not all awesome. It's just this is your chance to learn with some, Sue Ellen, Paramore. These people are legends, and opportunities to learn with them are not infinite. So I just wanted to take a minute to talk about this because no joke, classes are filling fast. And man, this is just a huge opportunity. And guys, this is just like one little taste. If you go to the class list, what you can do is, I'll pull this up and show you guys because it's actually pretty cool. It's really well done. It might be getting beat down right now, but what you can do is you can go by categories. Like for example, there's all these various categories. A lot of stuff, but if you just wanted to see flame working classes, you can click that, and with a bit of luck, yeah, here we go, it'll start loading up all these classes. And man, most, a lot of the Boro ones you see, but look at how many there are that are more general. Can't fit them all onto a cheat sheet or whatever, but God, so many things to choose from here. And man, I really just think this is a great time. I really like that venue. Again, it's a venue in Vegas where you don't feel like they're trying to rip you off at every turn is a rare thing. And that's definitely South Point. It's a little south of the real strip, so they kind of have to lure people out with actual like human dignity.
Value.
Imagine that, yeah. It's pretty cool. So anyways, I really can't speak highly enough about this. And then the expo itself is like the largest glass expo in the world or whatever. It's a huge thing with every type of glass company there, and everything that could possibly be utilized with glass is there.
Yeah,
it's
and
incredible.
I think Peter was mentioning after these classes, like I'm teaching a fusing class and I'm required to get my donations, so I'm hoping to get some from Paragon. Talk to our boy over there, right? And after my classes are over, they're going to be lightly used, and they don't want to ship them back, so it's a really great place to get deals on kilns and cutting equipment, polishing equipment, like all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, here's one of Carrie's classes. These things are amazing.
So these are normally 3-day classes that I'm doing in 8 hours.
Yeah.
So it's going to be intense.
The lovely Carrie Strope.
Murano Maiden.
Yes. Anyways, so yeah, guys, I didn't want to take all night on that, but I did want to take a hot minute on that one. And yeah, and then the other thing I wanted to talk about before we jump into the demo type stuff, Black Friday is coming up, and I'm not the biggest, I'm not super on top of this, but Lampwork Supply, one of my sponsors, but I'm going to talk to you guys about everybody I know of. But 50% off the Color Club. The Color Club knocks like a third off the price of almost every color on the site, and it renews automatically if you like pay for it. You get like a trivial amount of glass. Normally I think it's 50. It should be like 25 now. Yeah, this is the biggest no-brainer of the purchasing season.
Are you showing us the deals on your screen?
Oh no, I guess I wasn't. There you go. This is it. This is what you want on Lampwork Supply. And if you go to their site, there's a whole sales section right there. If you hit sales, and then these are the sales for Black Friday stuff. 40% off a ton of companies. But that Color Club is going to save you a big chunk all year. So I definitely recommend that. The other homies I wanted to, the Colorado Color Company, also a sponsor, but they actually made a code for you guys. It's not like some huge secret, but we're not going to make like a big, public thing about it. But Torch Talk is like the code. Just type in the word Torch Talk. That'll get you 10% off anything on top of other sales as well. And they're doing 20% off. Yeah, they're doing 20% off for Black Friday on all this stuff. Like, I mean, color is one thing, but line tubing and all that they already sell at a really fair price. You can only go down so much on that, but so yeah, with that Torch Talk code, you're up to 30% off. So they've got so many cool tubes to choose from, and yeah, I like these guys a lot, and they make quality stuff. They've got Dicro Rod too. They got all sorts of neat stuff on here that's going to be discounted for Black Friday. What was the other one? Blast Shield, I understand has a thing. I haven't really heard much else. Mountain Glass has like their normal monthly sales up, but I haven't seen anything about Black Friday in particular. But they've got the 33% off Mamka, Hindu Kush, and Boro bars, 20% off Golden Gate.
Rebecca in chat says they've got some 50% off specials.
Do they? Okay, I must have missed those. If she could link those to you guys, that would be extra tight. And then, guys, the other thing I wanted to talk about before we jump into this demo is Check this out. Check this shit out, you guys. The Glass Vegas torch demo schedule is up for the people.
Can we see it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just had to make it full screen and all. Yeah, guys. Lewis Wilson, KT Scissorbaby, Chad G, Triple A, Kai Beck, Dave Strobel, Windstar, Mickelson, J Mass, Glass by Boots, Zam, Kurt B, Juju, Wicked Glass, AKM, and Z.
Yeah, that's a pretty crazy lineup.
That is a shit hot lineup. You know, I tell you what, it's like, if you want to come out and see Boro demos and stuff, like Glass Vegas is where it's at. It's, you know, if you're just coming out, not to have a booth to sell or whatever, this lineup's incredible. I think it, you know, it's like a great sister event to the Beat Expo, and they're both run by the same people, so they're both just run excellently. But this is, you know, it's really about demos. They've also got some crazy classes this year. Let me see if we could find them. There's like here's a yoga class.
Salt's teaching a class too.
That's right. See, this is a class, yoga for glass blowers. And then there is a getting your shit together with Salt. And this is business in the language of the artist. And growing your business, custom orders, shop relations, taxes, and QuickBooks, and a Q&A session. You know your boy's going to be recording this, but man, here's your opportunity to come out and interact, you know, with Salt live and get your shit together personally or whatever. But that color blue there, he just like went and bought it at some booth or whatever because he needed some punnies. He was like, just give me the cheapest ride you have, and it was like some Boro Batch Cobalt or something, you know. And he gave it to me when he left. I was like, oh man, what the fuck do I do with this? I can't fly home with this. I just gave it away or something, or I don't know what we did with it. Anyways, okay, yo, I think that was it. I think we're actually ready to pop this demo off if you guys are ready. So, I thought all that news was worth a delay, but let's do this. Glass Central Station, y'all. That's me and Carrie and some of you guys like Rob out there, White Fire Glass, helping out. Means a lot. And then, you know, we got to take a minute to thank these companies and events that make it possible for me to get to all of these events. Tonight, you know, is my demo, but most of the time you guys are seeing absolutely, you know, epic world-class glassworking from a host of events. And it's all with the blessing and support of these companies. And then some of you guys out there in the Torch Pass. Yo, like 15-something people signed up for Torch Pass this month. I really appreciate that. I don't want to like make it such an open season. You know, I really do love all these companies that I work with. These are all my friends. That's Sean Gold and Paul Catherman, the homies, you know, the Melt homies. And these guys, Ben and the homies out there, man, making great. Anyways, this is a family affair. I want to keep it that way. And you guys pitching in on Torch Pass, you know, all of y'all add up to, you know, having more sponsors or doing things that I don't want to have to do to compromise the content. Yo, now, tonight we're going to see a tool made by Bart Hoffman. He's a tool maker, and he's based in Israel. And I think postal stuff like this is really neat. So he sent me that box all the way from Israel with the tool.
And then
Pearl was like, what's in my thing here? Get that out of my way. But this is the tool, you guys. If you're not familiar, these are made to stick stringers in, and then a tube of glass goes over them. And they allow you to get extremely exacting patterns. I don't think it makes any of this easier. Hand striping is actually much easier, but this makes it possible to lock in absolutely perfect patterns. So that's the real benefit. But what you really do need to fill it with stringers. If they're too small, they'll float around in the pocket and not want to tack down. If they're too big, they won't fit into the holes that keep them in place. So we calipered it to like 2.25 millimeters or whatever, and so that's your range, somewhere between like 1.5 and 2.25, you know. And somebody recently in the Torch Talk group was asking, like, how do I don't know, what's your method for pulling even stringer? And that's what I'm sharing here. You know, if you just want to get a thin thing of glass, you can pull them across the room with a ton of stuff at once. But when you want it to be a super specific size, I think heating up about a flame width or a little bit wider, is going to be more ideal. You need to heat an amount that you can really get super evenly hot if you want super even stringer. So I like to bring them in at the back, let them establish some heat, and then put a handle on while that heat soaks in, and then I go back and kind of finish the job of getting this section of glass super hot and evenly hot. I'm always kind of coming out the back of the flame so that there's not like a hot spot on any one portion. These are all the tenants, and then this is where the timing thing comes in. I'm letting it chill, and then I'm slowly. You never stop. You could slow to like a millimeter, or a molecule a second, but don't ever stop. But I want to pull it, and then I gave it a little bit of a blow to kind of help cool it even more. But once I felt that it was close to the diameter I wanted, that's when I really start accelerating the pull against it cooling, if that makes sense. It's a lot like pulling a point, like you got to get the right amount hot, and then you don't want to rush it because you'll thin the walls out and all that, or you won't get the overall diameter that you want. So it's really a timing game, and here you can watch it one more time. Like I said, I warm it up in the back while I'm getting the tip of my handle there hot. Now you can use tweezers and stuff. I do like using a handle. I really like this flow of, not to shout out no pun intended with my sponsor in the corner there, but I really do like that flow of it. And there, so I'm letting it get out to close, and then I start pulling more when I feel like it's really going to pull out. And even some of the handle went there, but that's okay. It's really a timing game. And once you really get into the groove of it, your success rate will go up. But you really do kind of got to be a stringer pulling robot. I mentioned this in the last demo, the Zach Love tool, which is kind of like definitely the inspiration for this tool you're going to see tonight that Bart made. I shared calipered measurements of it to help them kind of recreate this tool that hadn't been made in like 10 or 15 years. And I'll be honest, it's not a tool for like every person. It's really is for people who want to do this kind of large scale line work, like cups and tumblers and things at that scale, with that type of patterning. And it would be so much easier to use a stringer and just draw it by hand. For some people, that's really difficult, and this tool would definitely be a big assistance. But really, to me, it's about getting perfect patterns like this. An exact amount of stringers, exactly perfectly spaced. And that's what I was trying to do. And it takes 32 lines, and it fits a piece of 50 by 5 over it. There's a couple of pieces that we need to make after the stringers are all tacked down in the tool. You're going to need a handle that's going to go onto a piece of tubing that's somewhere between like 45 and 50 mil. It squishes down a little when you get the stringers pushed down and such, but it's close to 50 mil, so you don't want to have to like bring that whole end down and waste tubing at that point to get a blow tube on it. So if you can have a blow tube that has a piece on it that's already been flared to closer to that diameter, that helps. So that's all I'm doing here is just blow tubing up to some tubing, and then I'm going to pull a section of it off and flare that out. And guys, I'm at Lincoln Hot Glass. This is my new studio home out in Lincoln, Nebraska, where I moved earlier in the year. And I like this place a lot. It's where high volume oxygen is located. Like the other half of the building is high volume oxygen, where they build the systems and all that. And man, it's really nice. Where I'm at now is their teaching bench, which has like 6 spots, and then there's a bunch of rental stations as well. And I don't want to spoil anything. I don't know how much I'm supposed to talk about this. I
don't think it's really, not specifics. But...
Okay, so... But, I have a feeling that you guys might want to, like, tuck this location away in Lincoln, Nebraska, because we're going to try and put that bench to some good use, especially in 2020. So there might be some opportunities to learn with some legends out here.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say any more than that, or I'm going to be in the doghouse. So.
Yeah, let's not guilt trip anybody into coming because it was announced they were.
Oh, I mean, I wasn't thinking about it like that, but that's actually a pretty good idea. We
Yeah.
should that I'm tucking that away as a fallback strategy.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. They haven't said yes yet. Let's just announce it on Torch Talk.
We'll pre-fill the glass. Doesn't matter what it is.
See, like I said, I'm just making this handle that's going to go on the other side. And you know, pulling the point, it's the same thing as the stringer, actually. Just get that segment that I want hot, kind of come out, let it settle down, and then a controlled stretching, you know, against its rate of cooling or whatever to give myself a nice even handle with the interior diameter that I'm happy with or whatever. You know, you want it to not have some extra thin wall weight. When you put, and here's a little trick, you can like flip the end of your thing over there, your point, and then wink. Just slide a tool down it. You can use the end of a tweezer or whatever it'll be. But I definitely like picked that up from one of those like Italian type cats. And yeah, now I'm just going to flare this open. And you know, this is something I maybe debatably could have left on the cutting room floor, but I don't know. Sometimes it's nice to see how I like to flare this section out and, you know, have this handle that kind of has a diameter shift and everything, and it's quite a bit to move, you know. It would be easier if I'd put some like, you know, 30, 38 or something, right? But I didn't have that. And my idea here is to kind of get it open, but not try to do this giant flare at once. I want to get it kind of open and then do it in a few steps. But then when you do a big flare on that, it's kind of a one move at the end. It's like making a martini glass or whatever, you know. Get about 50% of the way there, and then to truly get that triangular shape, it's like one move with an aggressive ream or whatever. That's something you got to go to Roger Paramore for. I don't know why the fuck I'm talking about martini glasses, but you know.
All right.
So yeah, this is like I said, this is like that intermediate step. And then we'll flare the rest of the way. And don't leave your stringer sitting on the marver pad next to you. I was knocking them all over the place.
Here's what not to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's really good to see that occasionally, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's all good. All we can do is learn from the mistakes of others. I mean, I don't really do that in my real life, but, you know, I
Oh, of course.
that's what I recommend everyone else do.
Yeah.
Jax is on fire. All right. So that was I just calibrated it real quick to see where I was at. It was actually perfect then, but I brought it all the way out to 50 or whatever, and then ended up having to adjust it down just a bit later, but no big deal. That shit happens. So I just gave it just a little bit more heat.
Someone's asking, who is this killer on the torch?
That's me. I know it's been a while, but yeah. Every now and then I'll meet someone at an event or whatever, and they'll be like, "You blow glass too?" I'm like, yeah. You know. Like they just thought I was guessing all this time with the commentary, you know?
You're just so intuitive.
He's read a book or two, I guess. No, I've been doing this since 2013, and, you know, back in the day, it used to be me nearly every week. And, you know, that was a formative part of, you know, my experience as a glass worker was like getting something down well. I mean, it was back in the day, it was like me and the dogs on the webcams, you know, getting loose. But it was still important to me to share something fun with my friends. You know, it was never like a high pressure type of thing. But for me, it was like an important part of my learning experience to
Ooh,
demonstrate
this
this
guy's
stuff. And
fast.
yeah, so I thought I would use the power of editing to speed this part up, because I like to bring the tool. The tool is like a giant piece of graphite, so it's something of a heat sink. And I don't really want to set it in the kiln with all those stringers and stuff. Like, there's a way to probably do that, but I really just like to take a few minutes to bring them up this way. And I thought I'd just save you guys the trouble of having to watch that, but it was, probably a good 3 or 4 minutes. And in the middle there, I slowed it down just to show that at first it was almost all propane, and then I added a little bit more oxygen, so it was like 2 different annealing flames, but one of them much hotter. But, give it that initial heat, and then give it, just really get some heat established. And then it's time to go in on this. And it really is a matter of working it in bands and kind of getting it tacked in. And you have to apply a positive pressure. I actually got a little in trouble here. I pushed a little too hard and heated up a little too much at first. It's no big deal, but I ended up forming like a little Maria on the end. It's no big deal, but if you can avoid that Maria, that's not actually something you should do. It was just that I heated too much glass up, so the glass behind it was like pushing out a bit as I was pushing it down. No big deal. It's just I didn't actually mean to do that Maria, I must admit, and it didn't happen the last time or whatever, but this is a one and done kind of thing. And the truth is, as much as I'm talking about how long I've been blowing glass, like over the past couple of years, I blow glass like once a week, or like 1 week every 2 months, in order to do the millis for the subscription packs. And other than that, it's just traveling to events and such. So it's no big deal. I actually don't believe that you lose much when you take time off once you have the like full muscle memory type of fundamentals established. Like, you can lose some of the support muscles required to do larger work, but if you really take the time and put the work in the beginning, it doesn't matter how long you take off, man. You come back to it 50 years later and just need a little bit of time to shake the chain, the rust off or whatever,
Yeah, it's like the totally perfect cup I made at Melt.
Yeah.
No, I was
Well,
joking.
anyways, so again, just working down here in bands, and then rolling it on the marver to really make sure that the glass is pressing down on those stringers and getting a good enough seal. It doesn't have to be like fully cooked in at that point, because we're going to go through the blank later. But it definitely needs to be properly tacked down, because you don't want one of these things coming loose during any point of the process. You lose one of these lines and you just shot a ton of time pulling stringers and all that.
Yeah, this is not one that you want to mess up
Yeah.
halfway through. At any point, honestly, but
Yeah, no. This tool is definitely a connoisseur's tool. It's awesome, but it definitely takes time to fill that thing with the proper size stringers and all that. It's a methodical tool. And yeah, when you're getting these things tacked down, I think it's worthwhile to kind of take your time here and really go through those bands. Now, I may have even been a little aggressive here. I kind of went back to the front because I was like second guessing myself. I put maybe even a little too much heat, and then because I was pushing, it was even like coming up a little bit. It's no big deal. It's just I'd rather that happen than it not be tacked down enough,
you pretty much had an audience for this whole thing, didn't you?
Yeah, if you guys see me talking, it's because there was like a bunch of homies around. That, like everybody in the studio was kind of interested to see this happen, so it was turned into something of a live demo for the studio mates, which is fun. I don't never had any studio mates in the past. You guys always saw my dining room that I turned into a studio, and I definitely wouldn't never do any filming when I had guests over. If I had guests in the studio, we were making something. Or I was showing them something and, it wouldn't be filmed. Anyways, all right, so yeah, bands that make a dance. That's my Juicy J anthem. That's usually when I'm sleeving, but in this case, it's, you're kind of sheathing or whatever. I don't know. Did you get the idea? And then, Yeah, going in on this end, it's man, just a matter of working that tube down and making sure that they're all tacked. Because when you pull that thing out, it is really not cool if you see one of the stringers come loose, and you'd be like, "Damn it!" And then I will add, the person who taught me to use this tool is Kiva Ford. He's one of my teachers, one of my most important teachers. If you ever see a class with him, first you tell me, so I can take it too, and then you sign right up. Those are those are the moves you make when you see a Kiva Ford class. Make sure Mike Mason knows, and then sign up.
Bart's in chat. Bart's in chat. You said he was going to join us, and I completely forgot.
Oh, Bart made it?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, Bart. Thank you for joining us, man. And thank you for sending me this awesome tool to test it. And it worked beautifully, as you guys can see.
He's talking about sending you an adjustable yoke style roller as well.
Okay. I would love that. I really, Bart, I really do appreciate you, man. I appreciate you thinking of me and send me this nice thing to share with our homies. It did take me a minute to get this recorded. I do apologize for that, but I wanted to do it right. I could have just really quickly tossed out a blank, I had this vision of really showing what this tool is possible of creating, or what is possible to create with this tool. And it really is something special. Like I mentioned Kiva Ford, who taught me to use this. If you guys are not familiar with his work, check it out. It's Kiva. You guys saw that tool. It's like it gets red hot. It really takes some heat during this process. Anyways, Kiva's work with these double layer pieces of this are absolutely incredible. And what I'm showing you in this demo next is, kind of his process for sleeving these pieces and making this incredible prep. And it really is, like I said, it's like connoisseur level Reticello. Like Andrew in the chat, Andrew Pollock, he just got one, and he's the type of person I think this tool is like meant to be in. I took this philosophy class once, and they were like, "Who does something belong to?" And I was like, "The person that use it best." And he was like, "No." But I think I was right. I don't know. I'm not trying to get into this philosophy thing. But anyways, Andrew,
I think that's a good answer.
Yeah, I really do think this is the tool for people like that. Like, if you have a process that you're sincerely comfortable with and you want to take it, to the next level with absolutely shockingly perfect patterning, this is the type of tool for that. So I sliced out those excess stringers, and I was really careful to kind of let them cook in at the edge. Because I used the scissor, but not until it was like ready to practically droop off. And that's because it kind of adds a little bit of like shock, when you cut them. And if there's any stringer that, God forbid, didn't get a thing tacked down, that's what'll make it pop off. So just really let those things get droopy before you hit them with the scissor. In the last demo, I just let that shit cook in and sealed right onto it. That was kind of a gosh move. I watched it later and I was like, that was gross. I'm not going to do that again. And
Hey, so while you're cooking this in here really good.
Yeah.
Before, when you put the sleeve over it and you started heating from the front end instead of the back end, right?
That's right.
Right. So could you do it the other way and use a vac? Someone's asking.
Well, it's not a perfect seal to that piece of graphite there. Like, even if you take your time and like, let's, for example, just say that you saw cut the end of the blank, so it had a perfectly flush end. It's like, it's still on you to kind of hold it onto that graphite, and any little bit of slippage will allow air to suck in, so it wouldn't be a very good vac. I feel like it would almost overly aggressively push it down, onto the graphite inside in a way that would be weird. I think that could work too. Don't get me wrong. It's just keeping that piece sealed would be a little bit weird, And if the vac came loose at the moment when you didn't want it to, like, that would be not ideal at all. So that's my thoughts there. Is like, how would you get that blank to seal down to where it connects to the graphite? Okay, and guys, by the way, what I'm doing now that I've got a handle on it and like the tools out of the way and all that, and I'm more comfortable, now I'm going through this tube and really, really shooting some heat into it and kind of letting those lines really cook in. It's like a really thick blank at this point. It's still about the 50 by 5 plus the stringers, and letting those cook in, and I'm just kind of giving it just a slight puff, just the slightest puff, and a little bit of diameter lengthening to kind of facilitate them cooking in and having a blank to work with. But later when I spin them up, I'll bring the length down and stuff, to my desire or whatever. But right now it's just trying to make a blank and get everything super happy to kind of set it aside, or proceed. I needed to shut down because I'm renting a space here, and this is one of the spaces that they use for teaching. So I take my torch down when they have a class, and I needed to get it down for the day. And I came back in like the day after or whatever, and you'll see shortly I separate the blank and get another handle on it, kind of flared like the other one or whatever, and at that point I'll draw them out a bit before I spiral them up and stuff, because that's when I knew for sure what I wanted to do.
Jeremy, one of the live audience members, is also in tonight's chat.
What? The homie's in the house? Hell yeah. Thanks for joining us, dog.
So nice, you want to see it twice.
Yeah. And yeah, here I'm just getting that extra junk off the end and taking it right down to about where the stringers terminated. And like I could have gone a little ahead of that, but like what was up there wasn't really even. So I'd rather seal up to like right about where they terminated later. Those edges are always going to be kind of sacrificial as it is, so. But at the same token, I don't want to do it, leaving like an uneven part. And even here, yeah, I'm just kind of purposefully making sure that it's a nice oval on that top there, and evened it all out. And here we are, like a day or so later.
So Peter wanted to know if you were cooking them incompletely or leaving some texture to also get the classic ready air trap.
Yeah, no, it's not like that with this. There might be the slightest bit of texture, but not enough to do all that. That really happens when you do it with like a stick stack of bigger canes, and there's like that legitimate channel between the canes. That gives you enough space to make an air trap. Like with this, the stringers are so small to begin with, and especially after they're cooked in, I just don't think there's enough air gap in there for that to happen. Maybe if you left them really thick, like if I'd cut this blank in half and not drawn them out and not cooked them in as well, it could possibly leave enough to give a little tiny air bubble.
In the thumbnail, it kind of looks like there's a little air bubble.
No, there's no air bubbles. That's just light reflecting off the...
Just looks like
or
it.
Something. So yeah, here I'm adding another one of these handles that has a little bit of excess, and this is actually kind of important for the sleeve because you want to have a little bit of excess area. You want an area in the back to tack down the top sleeve. We'll talk about that in a second, but we need to close off the two blanks or whatever. And then you want an area on the end that, to keep the end of it away from all the extra stuff. Like, just give yourself some extra room to work, so to speak. So that way you're not having to terminate the sleeve right on the end of your blank. And here I'm just working the seal in. And I want it to be nice because the sleeve that is going to be the bigger one, which is the side that's a little bigger on the blank that I'm sealing to now, that's going to be opened up to allow the other piece to slide inside. So I want to get this seal really nice and kind of bring it out to about the diameter of what the tube's going to get pulled down to. So that doesn't got to be a pretty seal. That's totally sacrificial area, but it does need to be a really happy seal. So really make sure all that glass is molten and cooked down and you don't have any weirdness in there that'll set it off. And yeah, and now I'm just going to slice this blank in half. I gave it an annealing flame, but I spared you all the watching it come back up to temperature. But, you know, those annealing flames, a minute of that can, you know, make sure you don't waste a piece of prep that you spend a long time on. Here, I'm going to try and separate this, but I don't want it to be like, you know, like a flame cut for a cup, right? Like, I want there to be two bubbles. So I'm putting a lot of heat in the middle, but then I'm going to add a little bit of additional heat on the sides so that when I separate these two, the ends won't be like extra super duper thin. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm just cutting this apart, but I'm doing it in a way that precludes there being like a super thin wall on those two ends. Because yeah, if I just use the links and pull them apart, what would be left on that end would be, you know, really thin.
Dave was saying new bench space looks legit, man.
Yeah.
How clean it is.
There's like 100% less wood, which is a good thing. Now, I like my hood. Like my old bench was completely enclosed, and for what it was, it worked great. But you know, no, the Lincoln Hot Glass is a very proper studio, and yeah, they do all sorts of classes. If you're anywhere in the Midwest and you just want to kind of learn to do this or take some beginner stuff, they have that regularly with some great teachers. But yeah, I'm also looking forward to. See, so it's like I almost pulled a point there, but then didn't pull the point, you know? Just so that those shoulders kind of come in and maintain some diameter. And we'll just clean those up, and now we're ready to work. We got two of these blanks. And they look pretty squat now, but, you know, these are really thick, and I'm going to draw them out a bit before I twist them up and such. So we're going to have a nice piece of prep. Yeah, just working that end back, letting it even out. And I kind of like to roll that shoulder is what I'm doing, you know, like I'll start rolling it and then I'll kind of slowly change my angle. It's almost like I'm using it like a marble mold, in fact, when I think about it. I'm just trying, but it's not round, you know, but I'm just using the angle to purposefully make that shoulder smooth while I'm kind of pushing, you know, from the inside by blowing. That just gives me a nice even end there. So now I'm going to put another one of these handles that has that extra segment on it onto the other side. And that way when it all comes out, it's going to have some extra glass on the ends. We're trying to make something really nice here, and we want to get as much of it as possible is kind of the bottom line there. So, you know, starting by adding these the extra clear, some sacrificial clear, so to speak. It makes my sacrificial area like way longer. If it were just the ends where it seals, you know, you'd have a like 7 millimeter zone of bullshit. Whereas now I've got like a couple of inches to fuck around when it goes into the sleeve, and I'm also going to be able to really put a shitload of heat into the line section without worrying about my handles. So there's a couple of benefits here to having them, you know, sectioned out this way. You're just going to work that seal in and, you know, kind of bring them out together. Kind of about to the same type of taper that you see on the other side. And then I'm going to pull this down just a bit, and then we're going to do the twisting up and stuff. And I think that's the real gold of this episode, honestly. Twisting these blanks up evenly and consistently is That's the jam. If you can do that, it doesn't matter how you get here. You can hand stripe them, you can, I don't know, man, you could probably coat a whole blank and then take it to like a sandblaster with stripes down it. There's probably so many ways to make a blank with a line on it, but then getting it twisted up evenly and consistently, and this process, in order to get the look that we're trying to achieve, which is like that crisscross kind of argyle or whatever plaid look, in order to get that, they have to be twisted in the opposite direction. So we got to make two of these blanks and twist one the other way. It doesn't work just like turning one around or whatever. None of that. None of those tricks work. It legitimately has to be twisted the opposite direction. So that's why we've separated that into two, and what we're going to do, but when we sleeve one over the other. There's all sorts of ways to do this as well. You can hand draw the lines one way and then twist it up and then draw them twisted the other way. There's a lot of ways to skin this cat. But this is essentially the way that Kiva Ford taught me to do this, utilizing this line tool. And, man, when you look at what he does with it, it is some of the finest glass working on earth now, period, ever. It is absolutely gorgeous patterning. All right, so here, I'm really trying to get some dank heat into this blank, some really even heat. See, I'm moving around it, I'm looking at it, seeing what parts are lighting up the most, and, really making sure that it's... I really want this thing to move and kind of come down into an even section now. And it's going to need to be like a long tube. So we're going to have to do some serious diameter change here, and some of it's going to happen now, and some of it's going to happen when I do the spiraling. But this thing is going to basically double in length. But so much of the key to doing that is just taking your time and really building that heat up. Just ever so slightly drawing it out there, if you can see it. Kind of had like more of a football thing, and now it's going into more of a straight cylinder. That's really all I'm trying to do here. And, the real fun is about to start when we get into the twisting. But again, it's this concept of dank heat that I keep talking about, which is even heat, from the core. And in this case, it's a hollow blank. So I want the inner wall to the outer wall to be somewhat evenly hot. That is going to make it happy. That's what's going to make it want to blow out evenly. That's what's going to make it want to homogenize later, even if some parts are hotter than others. When it comes out, if you've built that heat up, it's all going to want to be happy. I don't know. We're getting abstract now, but building up the heat is the key to that. If you like, I'll move from closer to the torch to further out often, and I'm just kind of letting heat soak in at that point. I'm moving around, and while heat is soaking in one area, I'll be working the other. All of these concepts add up to a blank that is hot to the, from the surface to the core evenly. And when you take your time to do that versus just like sitting in the hottest part of the flame, and bringing a blank up, which for production stuff, that's totally fine. If that works and you can make that spoon or whatever, make that neck for that thing, whatever, that's fine. But, when you're working with something really fine and you really want it to come out the way you want it, man, when you want to do more intricate shaping or intricate patterning. And here I'm just, man, we're getting close to like the point of really getting loopy here, And okay, so I like to do my twisting outside of the flame. It's kind of what I was taught to do. So I got it really hot, and then I brought it out and kind of let it settle down, and then started adding that twist by kind of just slowing down, adding resistance on my rotation on my right hand. And while this heat is still in there, while it's still super hot, don't ever stop in the middle of twisting up a blank. While that thing is still hot, I'm going to go back and continue to add more twist. Sometimes it's possible to get all the twist you want in one go, but I find it's easier to add in a lot of heat and do it in a couple of moves. But you definitely want to keep at it. Like I said, don't let it get cold and then try and bring it back up and then, continue twisting. That would be very difficult. See, I'm just looking at this blank and just trying to get it as evenly hot as I possibly can. And here I'm giving it that I'm adding the twist, a little drawing it out, and a little bit of puff as I go. And then after I've done the twist, I'll kind of give it like a little bit, one more like puff, puff, after it's been twisted, which kind of like resets it back to a cylinder. It's hard to describe. You just got to strap a tube up and play with the shit. It's kind of my advice there. But those are the tenets that I would follow when you're doing it. And this is one of those ones where there's probably many ways to skin this cat, but like I'm not I can't say I've really done it other ways, so I don't know what to tell you there. Here I'm going in on the edge, it's virtually impossible to go all the way to the end and get it. So like you're always going to be leaving a little bit on the end that doesn't have that matching to the rest, but I'm trying to get it as much of it as I can. Yeah, there again, doing the twist outside of the flame with really even heat soaked in. A little bit of twist will happen, you know what I mean? You don't want to necessarily fight it too much. But, like I said, most of it I'm trying to do outside of the flame with as even heat as possible as I can get in there. And yeah, that's pretty much it, and I'm going in on the edge here to that it looked a little bigger. It's still a little bigger. I think I even went back later and found that was still a little too big compared to the rest. When you do the sleeve, it needs to be very tight. So even the slightest little bit off is going to be worth fixing on one blank or the other. And here going in on the other edge. And this one, I was just able to kind of add resistance to my natural rotation, the way that I check back. But the other blank has to be twisted the other way, which was like towards me, and I found that exceedingly difficult. It was so much less natural. But you simply have to do it. So it's like one way you can kind of work with the way that you naturally feel comfortable rotating and just add drag. The other way, you really do have to specifically be careful to, like, go the other way. That doesn't feel right. It's not a happy thing.
You could add another fun step and just make this one extra long and then divide it in half and cut and flip part of it. And then...
Well, yeah. The cut and flip is where you're going to leave a giant scar, so... Yeah. That's a fun idea. But that's actually... If you sock flipped it, I think the lines would go the other way, and you wouldn't have anything. But these are processes that would be really difficult to do, is all. So that's a fun idea, though. That's a good joke.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Had to go down the road to explore it a little bit, but that's good. It's a thought-provoking joke. I like it.
All right, so we'll get that extra thing, and then guys, here the second one is the same thing. It's just twisting the other way. And there I was checking my phone. I had a picture of the one that I twisted just to make sure I got the lines going the right way. Because I kind of forgot what, I was like, what, did I really rotate that way? Like once I started doing it, it became really obvious. I was like, okay, I'm down. I definitely wasn't doing it that way. But I was just checking the phone and it was really the same kind of thing. So I thought I would spare you guys the full thing and me having to bullshit like there's double the stuff I could tell you.
Oh, I'm sure you could come up with something.
Yeah. Uh-oh. What happened there?
What do you mean?
No, it looks like the framing went weird.
I didn't notice it.
Oh, that'll change in a sec.
Probably
Okay, and then now that okay, so we twisted it up and it's out to the diameter that I wanted essentially, except for on that one end. And I think that's going to be the end where I open it up. So we really need to bring that where it like kind of goes down in the diameter out to the same diameter as the rest of the tube so that we can insert another the other one into it. So that's what's happening here. And I'm just using the L Marver to guide against the rest of it. It doesn't have to be pretty there. That area is completely sacrificial. Both of the end zones, so to speak, you know, they're purposefully sacrificial, so you don't have to worry about it. When you actually go to seal this nice section into a can or something, that's when it becomes very, very difficult.
Someone else had an additional idea. Couldn't you twist them both the same way and then just remove the opposite handle?
Yeah, no, it really doesn't work.
Yeah.
You'd think it would, but it doesn't. When you flip it around, it's like,
yeah,
oh,
right.
damn it, it's just twisted the same way on the other side. It's crazy.
Same.
Fucking A, I should have paid more attention in fucking geometry or something. So yeah, we're just getting that end nice and ready to open up. And I do want that to be, it doesn't gotta be like perfect, but that's the area that's gonna get sealed down onto the other blank and kind of, you know, form that end.
The Nick camo.
Where it closes off the air. So I don't want it to be like fucked up or nothing. That's the homie Nick, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Big shout outs.
Nick cameo.
Yep. He's another one of the renters there. It's been nice having studio mates.
See him glancing to see if he was in the camera.
Yeah. He's in the camera. So yeah, now that end is out to the diameter that I wanted. We're going to open it up and we're going to flare it. And yeah, the real magic is definitely about to happen. I'm going to get some more liquid magic. I'll be right back.
Oh, you're coming to see me. Hi. So yeah, I'm assuming everybody in here is subscribed at this time, but if you're not, click that subscribe button if you want to make sure that you get a notification so you know when we go live. Hit the notification bell and it'll send you, if you enable it in desktop, you'll even get desktop notifications, or your phone will send you notifications, so you'll get a 30-minute warning on Torch Talk, which gives you about 45 minutes.
Yep. Now I'm commentating at Carrie's station because he's down in the kitchen. And I punnied up to this just to change the diameter on that back end there because it was a little bit wider than the rest. And when I tested it, it didn't want to fit. So it's no big deal. We're just going to draw it out and give it a little marver down and it'll be ready to fit in.
Yeah, this is a really beautiful piece. I'm excited to see what it becomes. So what are you thinking you're going to make out of this? Just a tumbler, or
out of what?
Out of the prep that you show at the end of the night.
Oh, I'm going to probably just keep it for another 10 years and that type of thing. I don't.
Oh, okay.
I'm in no rush. I was tempted to send it off to Eric Goldschmidt, the homie,
Mm.
Some of you guys might remember the Dicro Space tubing episode that I did probably a year or two ago. I probably would have been like, what, early 2018? And then I dropped it off with the homie Eric Goldschmidt. If you are not familiar, he's one of the program supervisors at the Corning Museum of Glass,
The
repping
board of
the.
directors for the Glass Art
He
Society.
is a new board member of the Glass Art Society, and Hadi just did an amazing blog entry for Corning about the pipe movement. We are
Yep.
so lucky to have Eric Goldschmidt out front. There's some amazing torch talk demos with him as well. But I was there with him for the Yushin thing that we filmed, and I left him with that prep. And he made a cup with it that ended up in the Flint Institute show. And then the museum ended up buying it. And man, it's, he did a lot of the heavy lifting there. But I'm really proud. That was a somewhat unique thing that I'd come up with. The way I do that space prep isn't exactly like anybody else, and for it to be hanging out in a museum is like, fuck yeah. All right, so here we go. These are our two pieces. One of them still has a bit of that punny on the end. It'll kind of just hang out in the end and make sure that it stays in place. I could have left it a little longer and it would have actually made it into the blow tube, but, it's what it is. It got pretty tight at the end, so I was like, this will work. Now I'm plugging in my vacuum. I got like a foot pedal vacuum down there. It's actually a Jason Gordon vac stacker. All right, so check this out. Now she's in there. And the idea now is to close down that clear glass on the end such that from like the left side over is closed off. And when I apply a vacuum from the blow tube on the right side, it's going to suck that outer wall down over the inner. And this seal down here, you guys, take your time with this. One of those things that I really remember Kiva mentioning, he's like, yeah, you can just tack this down and go, but I know I really get it now that I've actually worked with the tool and made the blanks this way. It's like you've put a lot of time into this blank at this point, because to use, to pull all those stringers for the tool and then to make the blanks and then to get them each twisted up, and it's all a bit of a thing, So when you're going to get the sleeves started, there's no reason to rush. So you may as well just stay in the zone back here a little bit. Get this thing all cooked down. Give it a few puffs. Really make sure that glass comes together and seals up. Because God forbid later that could trigger an issue. And then, little crack is whatever, but that sort of shit where you got some, giant wax seal at one end, that's the type of thing that's going to send some horrific crack, the entirety of your prep or something. You don't want to do that. So that's what I'm doing here, is just taking my time with it and really cooking that glass in over so that it does not present any type of problems, One thing I'm going to add right out the gate for this this sleeving, for most sleeves and most things in general, you kind of want to rotate back and forth, and check your rotation. When you're sleeving these ready sections like this, don't check your rotation. I can't say that I've tried it both ways and fucked it up, but that's because Kiva taught me to do it with the one way. And I think his specific verbiage was something like, I was like, you just want to be like a little lathe at this point. Just continuously rotate one direction. Right now I'm working that seal, so I'm going back and forth. But once we start the sleeve, I'm just going to continuously go in one direction somewhat slowly and just work straight down the tube. It's not like the thickest wall on the outer. It's going to happen very fast. But again, there's no checking back of your rotation, just you're a lathe. And I think at this point is probably where I've hit the vac. And it really does happen super fast. But just stay in your band. Be the lathe.
Yeah, if you're not, it'll start wiggling, yeah.
What's that?
If you go back and forth, you have more of a chance where it's going to start to wiggle
Yeah, I mean, there's like
and
two
waggle.
things. Yeah, there's like two things twisted different ways in here. All you can do is fuck it up. So just keep rotating one direction. Be the lathe, and that's gonna give you the best odds of that. And again, I can't say I've tested that both ways, but man, when Kiva Ford teaches you something, just don't fuck with it. Um, and at this point, we're pretty much like completely through the good zone. There was one like little section of line or whatever, like on the outer that like thickened up there, but it was right on the edge of what I considered the sacrificial section below. So I'm not really certain what happened there. If it was just because it was already kind of messed up, and like maybe it just thickened up when I was doing the seal, that sort of thing. But like the section that we want is fucking pristine. That's what's important. So no need to stress a little. You can see it. It's like this little tiny ridge right at the edge of where the pattern like went into the sacrificial zone. And I don't really have an explanation for it. I think on the part where it was like connected to the clear underneath was just like a little thicker or something, but that wasn't a part we were stressed about keeping anyways. So, and now now that we're past all that, I'm just gonna drill heat into this and pull all that shit off. Just get that out of the equation immediately. There's no reason to fuck with all that extra weight and stress, and it's just a gross area where the vac turns off. So just get that shit out of there as soon as you can. All right, we got a fucking blank, and yeah, I was pretty fucking stoked on this. I've definitely twisted these bad boys up and such, but I never went through the process of sleeving them or whatever like this. So I was pretty happy with how it went. But again, this is what Kiva taught me to do in that class years ago. It was just part of it I hadn't had a chance to actually apply. And yes, it opened up a hole, got a blow tube on it, and it's kind of like after it comes off the line tool, you want to go through the blank again as fast as possible and work it. You don't really have to do much to it, but you do want to get it fucking hot. And be careful if you've been working the end where the vac stopped, give it a nice annealing flame again before you go into the blank. Because that's an area that is, you've done that vac sleeve, but because you're trying to preserve the pattern and such here, it's like this is a sleeve that you're not going to let it get all fucking loopy, right? So those two walls have laminated, but they're probably not fully happy yet. So you do need to, as soon as you're comfortable and ready, you do need to go through it and really get that thing hot so that the walls are super happy and all that before you stop. And then after that, you can bench cool it, you can really do whatever. But until that time, you need to, think about how quickly you can get back into it. And that other end over there was like no big deal. Yeah, it was that shitty end that has the where the vacuum stops and all that. That's a touchy area. So I got that off, and then I really went through and heated it up before I took the other end off. The other end, man, that's that end that we cooked that clear down over, and it was really happy. So anyways, I went through and worked the blank in between. If you were quick about that other end, you would probably want to go back to that other end as fast as possible and get that shit off before you've tried to work it. But I don't think that's ideal. So my advice is to get it, just have that thing happy from the beginning, so it's not a risk. And yeah, they're just getting that shit off from the sacrificial areas. And
Make it all
bam.
pretty, a proper piece of
Yeah.
prep that you could hand off.
Yeah, no, I think this is really nice. I was pretty happy with how this came off. Especially once you get like the weird parts off, it's like, God damn, look at this fucking thing. Woo! Type of deal. Yeah, so that I was pleased with how that came out. And you know, with this tool, like if you want to do full on like big cups like Kiva and stuff, what you're going to want to do is do this like double scale. You're going to make 2 blanks and then sleeve those 2 blanks, and you're going to have a much bigger section than this. I mean, it could be that length if you made it much wider or whatever. You know what I mean? It's, you know, give it like a water displacement test or whatever. But and yeah, there it is. I from fucking stringers to line tool to you know, sleeved up blank. That was what I wanted to demonstrate. I hope you guys dug. If you have any questions, now's the time. But yo, thanks to Bart Hoffman for sending me that tool to test and share with you guys. And then these companies, again, let's take just a minute to give them a shout. And if you ever fuck with these companies, man, let them know maybe. You know, I hate to be like that, but that is the biggest thing you could maybe do for me, is just let these companies know that you appreciate, you know, their support of my work. I've never had a company walk away or whatever. It's just, you know, when they hear that the community appreciates their support, I think that really lets them know they're getting something for their investment. And
exactly,
because we're damn sure getting something for their investment, right? Like, we're getting to see fresh stuff every week, and I mean, I'm living a dream. Cut the bullshit, man. You guys have made it possible for me to do something so cool. There's some elements of it that are whatever, but I love this. I love the travel. I love getting to meet you guys all over the country and get to share so much cool stuff. And these are the companies and some of y'all out there on Torch Pass making it possible. So, yo, y'all know what to do. Drop some numbers, 1 through 200 in that chat. Didn't even tell anybody, but y'all know what we do. We actually have one prize that was like never claimed a while back, so I've like modified it and added other stuff.
Nice.
Yes, I got a sticker pack with jasmine tea. That's my new thing, dogs. Yeah, cause we got this Asian market in town, and they have like, you know, tea at the Asian market is way cheaper and better quality than at like even Walmart or whatever, man. Like, American tea companies have been taking us for a ride. Fuck that. Eat my ass, Lipton. It's not happening. But anyways, what I wanted is whenever I send out a sticker pack, man, I don't know. Look, what we do is stressful. I was joking even with somebody in the chat before the show started. They were like, they're talking about being peaceful or something. I was like, yeah, it's peaceful after about 5 years of stress. And even then, if you're trying to innovate and do new things, you know, and play the 20 roles that we have to play to make this thing successful, I think we all just deserve a cup of tea. Just sit back and relax and cool out. So anyways, that's why I include tea in my sticker packs now. But anyways, these are some special. This is a special pack that I made because I was going through all these old boxes, and they've got all kinds of old stickers that haven't been in the packs for years. Like, here's a space-themed Torch Talk logo. What? Damn. Crazy old stuff. I hear this is one of the most special ones. We had a sticker design contest, and the homie made this. If you got this, you've been with us for mad years. This is a very old sticker. Yeah, anyways, so I got a sticker pack. We got a KGB glass mood mat. Like a mood mats. Mood mats are the homies, you guys. I fucking love the mood mats, people. Big shout outs to them. And then courtesy of the one and only Carrie Strope, we have your dank.
That one didn't get claimed, huh?
That one did not get claimed, man. So, and that's the thing, you guys. When I do these giveaways, write to me within 24 hours. I'd really prefer you write to me right away. But if I don't hear from you, like within the next day, you're making it a stressful thing for me. So if you win, hit me up. Get me that address, mikemason@gmail.com. That's the deal. But anyways, yeah, we got the dish, the your dang. Look at this. It's an actual dish for your rings. If you're not into like dabbers or whatever.
Ring dish, trinket dish.
Yeah. Anyways, we got that. We got the mood mats. Yo, huge shout outs to Brian, the homie KGB Glass, for sending me these mats. Most of them we gave away already, but like I said, this is one that had been just sitting here. I was waiting. So whatever. Drop them numbers. We'll pick one here in just a second. What other one? This one even has a Torch Talk, the OG Torch Talk logo. stickers.
Wow.
Yeah, this like I said, I was digging up some really old stuff. This one, it's got the this one's the Van Gogh torch.
Right.
Yeah.
Still life with Delta.
Still life with still life with GTT. This one's got a breaking CAD. These are some old school stickers that
Nice.
some of them I'm probably gonna reprint. You know, it's got the Jason Lee Limp Dick
Oh
sticker.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So for those of you guys who don't know, when you're making your spoons, you know the user should really be able to see the CBD. And and oh, this is one that Carrie liked this so much she hid like 6 of them in her car. I found them. I was like, "What is this, Carrie?"
Not 6. That's really funny though.
It is funny.
Hey, there was a question in chat. What are the specs on the stringer tool? I think you said, didn't you say like the tolerance?
Yeah. In fact, it goes into a 50 by 5 blank. Actually, where did the tool go? I had it just sitting here. I'll be right back. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is.
It's right where we put it. Danny,
All
you're
right.
just in time to choose a number.
So this is the tool, the Hoffman line tool. It's made to fit a 50 by 5 blank, so that's what goes over it. And then the holes for the stringers are like, we figured they were like 2.25 millimeters tops. And it takes 32 of them. And that's identical to the Love tool. Like, I've got the Love tool downstairs, and we could put them side by side if y'all really want. Actually, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that. Let me show you guys the Love tool. There is another tool maker making these, Flugafree. It's like Flugfrei on Instagram. I can't really comment on his, though. He makes them for 45 by 5 with 30 lines. And I suspect that they're great. They look awesome. But, you know, the Hoffman tool is like truly the spiritual successor to the Love tool. And I'll be right back. I'm actually going to grab that. I should have left it upstairs, but just enter those numbers. Make sure we're tight. Drop your questions. Carrie, tell them what it be.
Would it be? Indeed. So yeah, anybody that's just showing up, the show is winding down. We started the first part of the show by talking about the Glasscraft and Beat Expo and what's coming up. Get to entertain you, do I? Well, you won't be disappointed. No song and dance tonight. Yeah, so we started talking about the Glasscraft and Beat Expo and the upcoming classes. The show booklet has been mailed out and class registration began today. What? Who is that? So yeah, flip through it. You can register for classes. Some of them sold out already today, so make sure you get on there and look through those classes and sign up right away if that is something that you're interested in doing. That's April 1st through the 5th. Yeah, April 1st through the 5th. Oh no. At the South Point in Las Vegas. And then Mike did his demo, and we're getting ready to give away some stuff. And he's going to be back here in a second to show you side-by-side comparison of the tools. He did a demo with the previous tool a while back. Ended up being a Laticino vase, I believe. And then tonight he did the new one. He's got a blank, and we shall see what it becomes.
Yeah. So, this is the OG Love tool that you guys saw in that other demo. And this is the Bart Hoffman version of it. They're essentially identical, except the Hoffman version is just a little longer. Because I was like, yo, baby, we can handle a little more. I gave him all the caliper measurements, you know, and he really ran with the ball. But yeah, when I say that this tool is like the spiritual successor, man, I don't know, they're fucking awesomely identical. So, I mean, look at that. Like, see what I mean?
And the other ones aren't made anymore, right?
No, this hasn't been made. This one hasn't been made, or this one hasn't been made in like fucking 15 years or something. So it's incredible that we have the opportunity to use these again. And yeah, man, Bart, fucking dude, I can't thank you enough, man, for running with the ball on this. I remember during that class, Kiva, like, he passed, like, his around, you know, and he was just like, you guys just do not drop or hurt this thing, you know, because it was, like, so rare. He knew there was going to be virtually no chance of getting one again, but because there was this interest, you know, I think sparked, there's like, I don't know, maybe part of it was the demo that I did before, and then when it came up in Torch Talk again, like more recently, there was quite the demand, and to the point that these tool makers were like, yo, what's the dimensions on that thing? And like I said, a couple of them have run with the ball now, so yeah, but here, these are the two of them, the homies, and yeah, they're virtually identical. I really think that I love this. The bigger plate, thinner handle on the Hoffman tool is superior in my opinion. You see the difference? Like the thinner the handle, the more rotations you're going to get and the more control you have, and the closer it's going to match like a 12 mil tool, you know? Like I'll tell you guys the exact diameters on these, for example. It was like, shut up, Mike, we want a prize. I'm just playing, but like,
just fucking around. Stuff. They're entertained. As long as they're entertained, they're happy.
This is 14.3 millimeters on the Love tool, and Bart's is like 10 mil is what it looks like. So, you know, if you're used to like a 9.5 or whatever, I like the smaller handle. And this one's not bad, don't get me wrong. It's not huge. Like we said, we just calibrated it like under 15 mil. But, and then I think, my understanding is this is close to final, but I think there might be like a Teflon stopper in here to prevent heat drift into the handle. But, you know, as you guys saw, I was able to use it. No worries. So, yeah, there it is. That's the Hoffman tool. Bart, again, thank you, man. I really do appreciate you running with the ball to make this thing exist again.
Bart says he uses high density isostatic graphite.
Fuck yeah. Somebody was asking about that and suggesting that it needed to be some kind of special grade, and I was like, I don't know, it looks fucking awesome to me. So but that's good to hear. And yeah, here's the blank. It's just waiting to something to be done with it. I don't know what yet, but all right, let's give away some stickers and stuff. I'll pick a few winners too. I'll get a couple of you guys a sticker pack. A whole bunch of you guys got sticker packs on that the duck post. That was fun. Does you guys know what I'm talking about now? The draw a duck
post. That was the great duck. Yeah.
Yeah, the draw a duck post on Torch Talk. We should actually look at some of those, in fact, but maybe another time. Let's pull up random.org. All right, what do we say? 200. All right, here we go. Clickety, 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 clack. 189. What's up? Do we have a 189?
I see nothing. Are we doing exact?
I think we are. We are, yo. Okay, 200. How about that? I see it. I see one at least. Yeah, I got a Jessica Newberry. Right. Hell yeah. All right, Jessica, holler at me. MikeMason@gmail.com is how I prefer, and get me a shipping address. Fuck yeah, congratulations. I love it. Let's pick another couple of winners for some sticker packs. Click to the clack. 195. Damn, this is one of those nights where it stays in like a 5-number range.
I think that's hilarious.
It is kind of hilarious.
198 is next.
It's like, I'm not a math dude, you know, but like true randomness that's what that means, you know. It's not like any type of normal.
They're all hoping you're giving away that blank next.
Yeah, I don't think so. No? Come on, dogs. Nope. No. One of those nights. Okay, here we go.
Oh,
Here we go. I
oh,
like this. I like this.
nobody. Oh
No, I
my
see it.
gosh.
No, there is somebody.
Do
I got
you?
it. We got a Russell Hurley.
Okay.
Russell knows how to
It
pick
doesn't
them.
show up on mine.
Yeah, Russell, hit me with your address at mikemason@gmail.com, please. That would be dope. And please do it in the next 24 hours. Clickety clack. Let's pick another sticker pack. 18. Ooh. Nope. Nope. All right. 87. Oh, I see an 87. Joshua Williams. Oh, shit, that's the fucking
Hey, Josh
homie. What's
Williams.
up, East
Nice.
Man Glass? That's my boy. Dude, hit me with an address, man, at mikemason@gmail.com. And I definitely have a fresh sticker pack for you. And, dude, I know I've seen you more recently, but this will be one that has some really old stickers in it. So that should be fun for you. Well, hell yeah. Yo, thanks to everybody who tuned in. I really appreciate you guys. Were there any questions or concerns or anything? I don't know.
There was a comment a while back. We let's see, we broached the topic of Blown Away.
Oh yeah, the book. They're like a person who's helping find people for the second season joined the group recently. I thought that was neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know there's a minority of homies who were not the biggest fans, but I don't know, I thought for what it was, that show was great. And the feedback since is that like the people who are on it are filling their classes faster, facilities are seeing all kinds of people show up who are like, got interested in glass because of the show.
That's awesome.
I'm like, man, I struggle to find anything to sincerely be negative about, like it wasn't even that, like, it's a reality show, yeah, and they like kind of played up a little drama over a hand torch here and there, but for the most part it was pretty
It's
good.
really
I don't know,
good.
I thought it
And
was pretty damn
apparently
clean.
there's a Boro version coming out where Mike Mason and Eric G are going to be the judges. That's the rumor on the street.
I'd like that. That would be a lot of fun. There's something to that. Rebecca Jeanette says, best black sparkle now is what? I only know of one black sparkle, like the galaxy, right? Is there other black sparkles? I don't know. North Star by Tag. I think that's the Galaxy. Yeah, I mean, that one's shit hot. Everybody really seems to like that. I put it into a round of the Hunger Fun packs, so maybe some of you guys out there might have comments about it. I don't know. If you do, holler at Rebecca Jeanette. No, but I thought it was really nice, and everybody I handed it off to had good comments. People were using it in kind of tricky scenarios too, backing marbles, imploding it, doing all kinds of stuff, and it seemed to hold up pretty well. So that's my thoughts. Galaxy does seem to be where it's at. If there's other black sparkles, let us know, I guess. Maybe I'm just missing them, but oh, should I see some nice words in there? Yo, homies, thank you for the kind words, but most importantly, thank you for joining us and making this a party. This really is a tremendously positive thing in my life, and I appreciate it so much, being able to be here with you guys every week and share dank stuff, man. I have a glassy party together, and I'm looking forward to doing it again in 2020. And hopefully we'll find some more opportunities to maybe get together in person or do some fun things together. I think we're going to call it a night now, but I want to find a time to maybe do like a game night. Let me know what you guys think about that. I know sometimes after the show we've been doing games. I'd almost maybe like to make that its own thing. Maybe we have like Thursday night game time or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, all right, I'm getting rambly now. Yo, I give thanks for all of you. I really, really do appreciate y'all being here, and I hope y'all have a lovely Thanksgiving and all that good stuff. Hell yeah. I'm going to hand it off to Carrie to give you a more lovely goodbye.
Okay, all right.
But
well, thanks everybody for joining us.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
It's taking just a second. There we go.
There we
all
go.
right. Send them off, Carrie.
I'm going to talk as Mike. Thanks everybody for joining us. Happy Thanksgiving this week. Enjoy the time, whether it be with family or just day off or foods or friends. Just have a good day, and thanks for joining us. And we'll be thinking about you until next week. When isn't Trapper Studios?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, next week, you guys, we have Trapper Studio joining us. Let me we'll take just 1 second to give y'all a preview of her work if you're not already familiar, because well, holy shit, look at this cool thing on Firefly's page, yo. Wow.
What?
What is that?
That's cool. Illustration?
Mobile-eyed gorilla painting. That's fucking awesome. Hell yeah. Firefly is such a nice dude. Anyways, okay. Chelsea Trapper Studio. This is a lovely picture.
Aw.
10 years with her handsome man. Aw, that's really nice. Yeah, you guys will see a much different Trapper Studio from the DFO footage, because she's like freaking all bandanaed up, you know, her whole face is covered. It's actually quite a different look, so it's funny.
Well, that was her in that photo you just passed, right?
Yes.
The one on the torch?
That's her. Well, I don't know about that, but I don't know what this is. Little man demanded to work with me tonight. Oh, that's great. But yo, her work is really cool. Like fish-oriented type stuff. Look at that. That is so cool. That is also so cool.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet right there.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a piece that's... She has these like caviar, like the pearls or whatever.
Yeah, I think that was one of the melt trophies up there somewhere too, right?
Yeah, she did the melt trophies for the fishing contest that were absolutely incredible. Yeah, what she shared, there's the fishing trophies we're just talking about from melt. Yeah. These were incredible. So yeah, they had the fishing contest at Melt, if you guys recall. Stephen Geller puts that on. And yeah, she made these incredible trophies for them. And yeah, her work is just awesome. It features all these different patterning methods. And she did a spoon that had kind of this like rainbow trout look. Similar to this look, but not, you know, beads or whatever. So that's coming up next, and she'll be with us. So this is going to be more of a proper interview and really proper narration without me, you know, having to guess what the artist was doing. But yeah, I think her work is really cool, and hell yeah. So that's coming up next week, guys. Get ready. Let's get excited. But in the meantime, I really do hope y'all have a little glass chat. Another glass show, you guys. Shout outs to Glass Chat. I don't do many podcast type things, but I hear it's pretty good. So yeah, look at this stuff though, guys. Her work is really cool. She'll be with us next week to narrate. And this demo was like, you know, like 4-hour demo slot, and I'll probably cut it down to an hour or whatever. But man, it is an awesome demo with a lot of different parts, a lot of different fins. This looks a lot like the demo piece, but it was, you know, in pipe form. So
it's all Boro, right?
It is. It's all Boro, and yeah, she has all these different techniques for the, you know, and you could tell some of it's frit, but then she's like some of it's dotted as well, and just all adds up to a really incredible look. So yeah, not to drag the episode out, but no, that was a great point. I completely forgot to mention that she is going to be with us next week. I'm really excited about that. Her work is super cool. So yeah, hell yeah. And look at these cool stickers, yo. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah. That's got quite the theme there. Draw your Trapper Studio card or whatever. Oh yeah. All right, you guys. I'm gonna wrap it up there. I'll say one more goodbye. Much love. I appreciate you guys so much for making this show possible, for making this community possible, for making this party possible. Fuck yeah. Carrie, send them on home.
Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next time.
Thanks
again for joining us.
Much love, homies.
Always
Peace.